Commentary on the diary from April 1 to April 9, 1594. 1. Preparation and performance of the ritual Yeje. From April 1 to April 3, Admiral Yi Sun-sin prepared and carried out a ritual called Yeje to console the spirits of those who died from a severe illness. Officials like the magistrate of Janghyung, the county chief of Jindo, and the naval commander of Nokdo requested the ceremony. On April 3, the ritual was held, and drinks and food were shared with soldiers. Yi Sun-sin, along with commanders such as the Ususa Left Naval Commander and the Cheongshang Susa Cheongshang Navy Commander, participated in the event, which ended late in the day. 2. Meetings with officials and soldiers. On April 2, Yi Sun-sin spent the whole day at the pavilion near the archery field, talking with the Cheongshang Susa and the magistrate of Samga. His nephew, Hei, also visited him. Throughout the week, several officials and military officers visited to report news or share updates. Yi also met with the magistrate of Janghyung for discussions over drinks and food. 3. Preparation and administration of the Special Military Exam (BLC). On April 6, preparations for a special military exam began. Yi Sun-sin, along with the Ususa and the Cheongshang Susa, acted as examiners. Other officials, such as the magistrates of Janghyung, Gazong, Samga, and Ungjin, served as assistant supervisors. The exam started on April 7 and ended on April 9, when the list of successful candidates was announced. Despite feeling unwell, Yi attended the exam and oversaw the process. 4. Deaths of soldiers and mourning. On April 5, a man named Choi Chun-bo passed away. Later, on April 9, the Jabangjong and Navy officer Ryo Young-dam also died. Yi Sun-sin deeply mourned Ryo's death, expressing his sadness in the diary. These deaths reflect the hardships of the time, possibly due to disease or ongoing military struggles. During this period, Yi Sun-sin managed military affairs, led important rituals to comfort the soldiers and their spirits, and organized military exams to find capable personnel. Despite his physical discomfort and the deaths of close comrades, Yi Sun-sin continued to carry out his duties with great effort and responsibility.
1594년 4월 1일부터 9일까지 이순신 장군의 행적과 군무. 1. 여제 준비 및 시행. 4월 초 1일부터 초 3일까지 장군은 장흥부사 진도 군수 녹도만호의 요청에 따라 악질병으로 죽은 귀신을 위로하기 위해 여제를 준비하고 진행했다. 여제는 3도의 군사들에게 술과 음식을 나누어 주며 성대하게 치러졌다. 장군은 우수사와 충청수사와 함께 여제를 마치고 늦게 숙소로 돌아왔다. 2. 관리 및 군사들과의 교류. 4월 초 2일에는 충청수사와 삼가현감과 정자에서 하루 종일 이야기를 나누었고 조카해를 맞이하기도 했다. 이후 여러 지역의 관리 및 군관들이 방문하여 안부를 전하거나 업무를 보고했다. 장흥부사와는 지속적으로 술과 담소를 나누며 협력 관계를 유지했다. 3. 별시 준비와 시행. 4월 초 6일부터 별시 준비가 시작되었으며 시험장은 이순신 장군과 우수사, 충청수사가 감독했다. 참시관으로는 장흥부사, 고성현령, 삼가현감, 웅천현감이 임명되었다. 4월 초 7일부터 시험이 시작되었고 초 9일에 합격자 명단이 발표되었다. 장군은 몸 상태가 좋지 않았음에도 시험장에 참석하는 등 업무를 수행했다. 4. 군사들의 사망과 애도. 4월 초 5일에는 최천보가 사망했으며 4월 초 9일에는 조방장 어영담이 세상을 떠났다. 장군은 어영담의 죽음을 깊이 애도하며 슬퍼했다. 이는 당시 전염병이나 전쟁의 여파로 인해 군사와 관리들의 희생이 계속되었음을 보여준다. 이 시기 장군은 악질병으로 인한 여제를 치르고 군사들을 위로하는 한편 별시를 주관하며 인재를 선발하는 등 군무를 소홀히 하지 않았다. 하지만 잦은 방문과 업무, 그리고 주변의 죽음들로 정신적, 신체적으로 큰 부담을 느꼈을 것으로 보인다.
Admiral Yi Sun-sin's War Diary from April 10 to 16. 1594. April 10 cloudy. News arrived that Sunmi's Central Inspector Shozong was coming to the camp. This highlights the preparation needed for such a visit and the importance of maintaining good relations with central authorities. April 11 clear. A boat was sent to deliver greetings to Sunmi's before his arrival. This reflects Admiral Yi's polite and professional attitude towards central officials. April 12 clear. Sun Shozong came to Admiral Yi's ship to discuss various matters. Key figures like Yuzasa Yi Yagi, Gyeongsong Susa Won-ga-yoon, and Chung Shang Susagu Sajik were also present. However, Won-ga-yoon caused a scene by pretending to be drunk and behaving rudely, which left Sun visibly uncomfortable. This event shows the internal conflicts within the Navy. April 13 clear. At Sun request, a battle drill was conducted in the middle of the sea near Jukdo. Meanwhile, Officer Won Sapyo and Gumarang Kim Jenam visited to discuss the arrest of Chung Shang Susagu Sajik. This reflects both the Navy's readiness for war and ongoing internal issues. April 14 clear. Admiral Yi discussed military secrets in detail with Kim Jenam. Later, he visited Sun ship to continue these discussions. Other officials, including Yuzasa Yi Yuki and various local commanders, also joined. After completing the discussions, Admiral Yi respectfully said goodbye and returned to his ship. April 15 clear. Chung Shang Susagu Sajik visited with several key officers, including Won Sapyo and Kim Jenam. Later, Admiral Yi bid farewell to Gu Sajik. This shows Admiral Yi's respect for his colleagues while managing the military organization effectively. April 16 clear. After breakfast, Admiral Yi went to the pavilion to process delayed official documents. He punished soldiers who failed to follow orders or report enemy movements quickly. In the evening, Song Dunham arrived from Seoul with instructions, which Admiral Yi promptly followed. This reflects his dedication to both administrative and military duties. Commentary. Each day's entry provides a glimpse into Admiral Yi's leadership during a tense military period. The records highlight his readiness for battle, efforts to maintain discipline, and cooperation with central and regional officials, all while managing internal conflicts with professionalism and resolve. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's War Diary from April 17 to 19, 1594. April 17. Clear. In the evening, I went up to the pavilion at the archery field to process and send official documents. The naval commander visited to discuss the situation. Later, the magistrate of Koche-ny arrived urgently and reported, about 100 Japanese ships have left their homeland and are heading toward Jeryong Island. As the sun set, 16 men and women who had been living in Koche but were taken as prisoners returned after escaping. Comment. This day was marked by tension as the movements of the enemy were detected. The report from the Koche magistrate was crucial in providing information about the Japanese fleet. Additionally, the return of escaped prisoners offered a rare opportunity to gather direct intelligence on the enemy's situation. This information would become key in planning future military strategies. April 18. Clear. Early in the morning, I went to meet the escaped prisoners and question them in detail about the enemy. According to their accounts, Tsuyoshi Toshi was stationed in Ipam, Wungchun modern-day Jinhezong Chendong, and Kanishi Yukinaga was based in Ungpo. That day, the new naval commander of Chungcheong Province Yi Sun-sin, the governor of Suncheon, and the deputy naval commander Yi Jiangchung arrived. In the evening, the magistrate of Koche also joined us. It started raining that night and continued heavily through the night. Comment. This was a significant day, as the escaped prisoners provided crucial information about the locations of the enemy leaders. The positions of Tsuyoshi Toshi and Konishi Yukinaga gave us key insights into the enemy's military power and plans. Additionally, the arrival of naval officials, including Yi Sun-sin, strengthened the collaborative effort among leaders. April 19. Rainy. Assistant Commander Kim Kyung-ro came from the main headquarters to discuss plans for attacking the enemy. After our discussions, he spent the night on my ship. Comment. The meeting with Kim Kyung-ro was critical for creating detailed plans to fight the enemy. Despite the heavy rain, the discussions underscored the urgency of the situation. His overnight stay emphasized the importance of cooperation and the sharing of information. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's War Diary from April 20 to 21, 1594. April 20. Drizzling all day. The naval commander of Chungcheong Province, the governor of Janghyung, and Commander Gang Eung-pyo from Maryang visited. We played a game of Go while discussing military matters. Even in the light rain, military leaders gathered to continue their discussions. The game of Go was not merely for leisure but served as a thoughtful way to engage in strategic decision-making. It was likely that the talks included plans for military positioning and other critical actions. April 21st, scattered rain. I spent much of the day sitting alone by the window, and no one visited until evening. Later, the commander of Bangdap reported on his new appointment as the naval commander of Cheongseong province and updated official records before leaving. In the evening, Kim Sung-suk and the governor of Ganyang, Lee Gwang-ak, visited. Around dusk, the magistrate of Pyongyang also arrived. Finally, a reconnaissance ship from the main headquarters brought news that my mother was in good health, which brought me great relief. This day was relatively calm. The commander of Bangdap's report and the visits by Kim Sung-suk and Lee Gwang-ak offered moments of discussion and reflection. The general felt comforted and at peace when he heard news about his mother's good health through the reconnaissance ship from the main base. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's war diary from April 22 to 29, 1594. April 22. Clear. Kyungji Kim Kyung-ro returned. The reports, along with the arquebuses and long spears to be presented to the Crown Prince, were entrusted to Kim Kyung-ro, who will deliver them. Local officials, including the magistrates of Janghyung and Pyongyang, visited to exchange greetings and reports, showing active communication. April 25. Clear. He suffered from poor health starting early in the morning, spending the entire day in pain. Although Bozong magistrate visited, he endured significant discomfort and spent the night sitting due to the severe symptoms. April 26. Clear. The pain worsened, leaving he nearly unconscious. Despite his condition, Ganyang magistrate visited to deliver his report. He continued to carry out duties despite his poor health. April 27. Clear. The pain eased slightly, allowing him to move to his quarters. While not fully recovered, signs of improvement began to appear. April 28. Clear. Energy and health significantly improved. Gyeongsong Naval Commander Won Ga-yoon and Jorang Lee Yu-ham visited. His son Ul has arrived. April 29. Clear. Yi Sun-sin fully recovered and regained his strength. His son Myun visited, along with 4 servants from the local area and government offices. An event was held on Wudu Island to serve drinks to soldiers from the 3 provinces, indicating his resumption of active duties following recovery. Annotation: Admiral Yi Sun-sin's illness in April 1594 was likely caused by overwork, extreme stress, poor nutrition, and unsanitary conditions. During the war, his heavy workload and mental pressure may have weakened his immune system, making him more vulnerable to illness. Symptoms such as pain, fever, and exhaustion suggest the possibility of an infectious disease, acute inflammation, or nerve pain caused by fatigue. Despite days of severe suffering, Admiral Yi recovered and resumed his duties, showing his strong willpower and sense of responsibility. With limited medical support at the time, natural recovery and his determination likely played a major role in his healing. This record not only reflects his health challenges but also highlights his dedication to serving his country during the Imjin War. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's war diary from May 1 to 5, 1594. May 1. Clear. This day started with clear and refreshing weather, and he felt that his health was gradually improving. Many people came to help with nursing, including his son Myun and some female servants. This shows how important family members in the household were in caring for the sick and the structured way they provided support. May 2. Clear. In the morning, some people left to prepare for his mother's birthday. Meanwhile, military officers and local officials from various regions visited. High-ranking figures like the naval commander and the magistrate of Pyongyang came to check on his condition and discuss matters related to regional defense and administration. The record of his improving health reflects his determination to recover. May 3rd. Clear. The record of the magistrate of Huingyang taking leave shows how administrative officials occasionally moved between duties. In the evening, the governor of Jianghyung and the fort commander of Balpo visited. Important documents such as a supply list and official orders arrived, emphasizing the urgency of war preparations and administrative work. The arrival of 2 royal orders highlights the delivery of significant national instructions. May 4th. Strong wind and heavy rain. Throughout the day, strong winds and heavy rain continued, reflecting the tension of the wartime situation. The news that a military officer from the Gyeongsang naval base captured enemy soldiers shows that the threat from the enemies was still ongoing at that time. Also, the enemy's claim that they drifted due to strong winds is interesting, because it shows how natural disasters could change their movements and affect the strategic situation. However, describing his explanation as deceptive words shows the distrust toward captured enemies. May 5th. Wind and rain. On this day, the wind and rain became so severe that the roof was torn apart and pieces scattered, making it hard even to stand. Despite the harsh conditions, the commander of Sato visited to pay his respects, and the fort commander of Balpo sent rice cakes. News of his mother's safety brought great relief. These acts of kindness and support show the strong sense of community during difficult times. Summary: the general's health is gradually improving. Many people came to provide nursing care, but the general declined their help. Visits from high-ranking officials and the arrival of documents highlight the urgency of the national crisis and administrative duties. The threats from enemies and incidents of drifting ashore add vividness to the wartime atmosphere. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's War Diary from May 6 to 10, 1594. May 6. Cloudy, then clear in the evening. The officials from Sato, Bazong, Nagan, and Sogun visited. In the afternoon, Gyeongsang Naval Commander Won Ga-yoon brought 3 captured Japanese enemies for interrogation, but they persistently lied. I ordered Won Ga-yoon to execute them and report back. The Right Naval Commander also visited, and we shared 3 rounds of drinks before concluding the meeting. May 7th. Clear. I felt as though my energy had stabilized. I received acupuncture at 16 points. May 8th. Clear. The military officer Byung-gak from the Supreme Commander's headquarters arrived with an official letter, a draft of a memorial, and royal orders. The orders stated, advance the navy toward Koche to instill fear in the enemy and force them to flee. I convened a discussion with the Gyeongsang and Jeolla Right naval commanders. The Cheongshang naval commander also visited. Heavy rain fell at night. May 9th. Rain all day. Alone in an empty pavilion, I sat immersed in deep thoughts that overwhelmed my heart and mind. Words could not describe my feelings. My spirit was hazy, as though I were drunk, dreaming, foolish, yet mad all at once. May 10th. Rain. At dawn, I opened the window and gazed into the distance, where numerous ships filled the sea. I felt confident that even if the enemy attacked, we could annihilate them. In the evening, Wu Woo and the Cheongshang naval commander visited, and we played a game of jangi Korean chess together. The Supreme Commander's officer Byung-gak also joined us for lunch. At dusk, the magistrate of Bazong Kim Deok-gwang arrived. It rained all day. I worried about my son Hoi, who had gone out to sea. The officer in charge of Sobipo sent me medicine. Commentary. This diary vividly depicts the tense wartime atmosphere surrounding Admiral Yi Sun-sin and the local community. The interrogation and execution of captured Japanese soldiers, as well as discussions to advance the navy toward Koche under royal orders, reflect the strategic urgency and military significance of the period. The exchanges with local officials, military collaboration, and the delivery of medicines illustrate the organized support and cooperation during this national crisis. The diary also highlights Admiral Yi's psychological and emotional state as he battled illness and personal concerns. His efforts to recover through acupuncture and his worries for his son, who was at sea, reveal his human side. The solitude and turmoil he felt during heavy rains portray the isolation and strain faced by leaders amid both war and unpredictable natural events. This record not only captures the tension of wartime but also sheds light on the intertwined dynamics of war, nature, and personal resilience, offering a comprehensive perspective on the complex realities of the time. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's War Diary from May 13 to 17, 1594. May 13. Clear weather. According to the report from the commander of Jiamapo, some sea harvesters working under the Gyeongsang naval base helped rowers desert their posts but were caught while trying to escape. Some of them hid in Wangayun's camp, and when Admiral Yi Sun-sin sent officials to arrest them, Wangayun detained the officials instead. This incident highlights the internal conflict and Wangayun's defiant behavior. Later that night, rain began to fall, marking a change in the weather. May 14. Rain all day. Despite the rain, several officials visited Admiral Yi Sun-sin's camp. Admiral Yi ordered a Zhongjongdu, a tool depicting official ranks used for games, to be created by a camp officer. This suggests that, even amidst battle preparations, Admiral Yi sought to maintain cultural activities within the military camp. Although the rain continued, daily life in the camp persisted. May 16. Cloudy with light rain. Heavy rain caused roofs in the camp to leak, making living conditions extremely uncomfortable. Admiral Yi worried that the soldiers on the ships were facing similar difficulties. A letter from Ganyang Governor Li Guangake contained a draft of conversations held by monk Samyang Dong Yujiang inside and outside the camp. This record likely involved significant diplomatic or military matters. However, the contents of the letter angered Admiral Yi, reflecting the complexity of external negotiations and conflicts during the war. May 17. Heavy rain. Torrential rain and thick fog made visibility nearly impossible. The severe weather restricted activities both on land and at sea, likely hindering military operations. The continuous rain throughout the day may have also dampened the morale of the troops. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's challenges. Admiral Yi faced dual hardships: internal conflicts and external conditions. Internally, his tensions with Wangayun were severe. Wangayun's actions, such as covering up the deserters and detaining Admiral Yi's officials, demonstrated the deep rift between the two leaders and likely disrupted the unity and command structure of the Navy. Externally, adverse weather conditions posed significant challenges. Persistent rain and fog made living conditions harsh for soldiers and limited visibility for naval operations. Leaking roofs in the camp and the likely discomfort of soldiers aboard ships would have added to these difficulties. Admiral Yi, concerned for his men, likely sought ways to address these issues. Diplomatic complexities further compounded the situation. The letter containing monk Samyang Dong Yujiang's draft upset Admiral Yi, reflecting diplomatic tensions. Despite these hardships, Admiral Yi made efforts to maintain order and morale within the camp. By ordering the creation of the Zhongjongdu, he encouraged cultural activities among his soldiers and officials, demonstrating his commitment to preserving a sense of balance and normalcy even amidst the ongoing war. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's War Diary from May 19 to 25, 1594. May 19. Diary. The monsoon rains briefly stopped, and my spirits were refreshed. My son, Myun, and some maidservants left, but the winds were not favorable. Song Hui Rip and my son Hoi went to Charyang and caught a roe deer despite strong winds, thick clouds, and fog covering the area. They returned in the early evening, but the weather had not fully cleared. Explanation: the weather briefly cleared from the heavy monsoon rains, lifting spirits momentarily. Admiral Yi Sun, Myun, and some servants departed, but unfavorable winds caused delays. Later, Song Hui Rip and his son Hoi went to Charyang and successfully hunted a roe deer despite severe winds, thick clouds, and fog that covered the area. They returned in the early evening, but the weather remained unsettled. This day reflected the persistent challenges of nature during wartime, affecting both daily life and military operations. May 20th, diary. Rain and strong winds slightly subsided. The magistrate of Ungjin, Li Unryong, and the Sobipo officer, Li Young-nam, visited. I spent most of the day alone, troubled by many thoughts. I was especially disheartened by how the governors of Honam seemed to abandon their responsibilities to the nation. Explanation: rain and strong winds slightly subsided, allowing the magistrate of Ungjin, Li Unryong, and the Sobipo officer, Li Young-nam, to visit Admiral Yi. Alone for much of the day, Admiral Yi wrestled with deep and troubling thoughts, especially his disappointment in the governors of Honam province for their apparent neglect of their duties to the country. This day highlights Admiral Yi's unwavering dedication and his frustration with political and regional failures. May 21st, diary. Rain continued, and strong winds blew all day and night. The magistrate of Ungjin and the Sobipo officer returned for further discussions. Byun-sun, who had escaped from enemy captivity in Jangmyeonpo, reported that the enemy's forces were not as strong as previously feared. Explanation: rain continued, accompanied by strong winds throughout the day and night. The magistrate of Ungjin and the Sobipo officer returned to discuss further strategies. A soldier named Byun-sun, who had escaped from captivity in Jangmyeonpo, reported that the enemy's forces were not as overwhelming as previously feared. This report offered some reassurance but also emphasized the need for vigilance in preparing against enemy movements. May 22nd, diary. On the 29th, it will be my mother-in-law's death anniversary, so I sent my sons, Hoi and Myun, and some maidservants ahead for the ritual. I wrote and sent letters to the inspectors and defense commanders. Hu Wang-duk-kyung, Park Yu-ha, and Osu were dispatched with orders to capture oarsmen. Explanation: with the upcoming anniversary of his mother-in-law's death, Admiral Yi sent his sons, Hoi and Myun, along with some servants, to attend to the family ritual. Despite this personal obligation, Admiral Yi maintained his focus on military matters, writing letters to the inspectors and defense commanders. He also dispatched officers Hu Wang-duk-kyung, Park Yu-ha, and Osu with orders to capture oarsmen. The strong winds and rain reflected the persistent hardships and disruptions faced by the Navy. May 25th, diary. The commander of Cheongshang visited, and we discussed important matters before he returned. The Sobipo officer also came but left late at night. The rain showed no signs of stopping, and I could feel the frustrations of the soldiers during this wartime struggle. My nephew, Hey, returned. Explanation: the commander of Cheongshang visited Admiral Yi, and they discussed important matters before the commander departed. The Sobipo officer also came by but stayed until late into the night. The unrelenting rain mirrored the frustrations and low morale of the soldiers, whose movements and operations were constrained by the weather. Admiral Yi empathized with their struggles while remaining steadfast in his leadership. His nephew, Hey, also returned, marking a personal moment amidst the continuous rain and tension of war. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's war diary from May 26 to 30, 1594. May 26, diary. The rain stopped and started again. I sat on the floor and saw that the west wall had collapsed. Breathing in the breeze through the barrage window cleared my mind and made me feel much better. I moved the target board to the pavilion. I sent Li In-wan and 23 soldiers to the main camp to harvest barley. Explanation: the rain came and went, and Admiral Yi noticed the collapsed west wall as he reflected. The breeze from the barrage window lifted his spirits. He adjusted the target board for archery training near the pavilion and sent Li In-wan and 23 soldiers to harvest barley. This action showed his focus on ensuring food supplies and stability for the troops, even during wartime. May 27th, diary. It was clear, then it rained again. I practiced archery with the Sato officer, the commander of Cheongshang, the Mono of Balpo, the Mono of Yodo, and the Mono of Nokto. I heard that the Sobipo officer was bedridden due to illness. Explanation: Admiral Yi held an archery training session with key officers to maintain their readiness and cooperation. However, he received news that the Sobipo officer was seriously ill, highlighting the importance of health and responsibilities within the military leadership. May 28, Diary. The rain stopped briefly. The Sato officer and the Mono of Yodo requested archery practice, so I called the commander of Chungshang and the Yuzusa to join us. We shot arrows together and later spent the day talking and drinking before parting ways. I also investigated corruption involving the Guangyang 4th ship. Explanation. On this day, Admiral Yi facilitated archery practice and fostered camaraderie among key officers. The day also included an investigation into corruption on the Guangyang 4th ship, reflecting his dedication to maintaining discipline and fairness within the Navy. May 29. Diary. It rained in the morning and cleared in the evening. It was my mother-in-law's Memorial Day, so I did not attend to official duties. In the evening, the magistrate of Jindo, Kim Man-soo, finished his report and left. The magistrate of Ungjin, Lian Ryong, the governor of Koche, Anhui, and Jekyang officer, Go Yo-woo, also visited and reported. Later, Jiang Sarip informed me that a man from Nvi has been taking soldiers from Suncheon on his boat. I ordered him to capture and detain those involved. Explanation. Admiral Yi observed his mother-in-law's Memorial Day, setting aside official duties. However, the day involved critical military updates, including visits from key officers. The report of unauthorized transport of soldiers prompted immediate action to capture the individuals involved, showing his commitment to maintaining discipline and securing military operations. May 30. Diary. The weather was cloudy. In the morning, I punished soldiers from the Guangyang 1st ship and 3 men from Gyeongsang who had attempted to flee with the enemy. The Gyeongsang deputy commander visited, and the commander of Chungshang was also present. Explanation. Admiral Yi enforced strict discipline by punishing those who had attempted to escape to the enemy. Later in the day, he met with the Gyeongsang deputy commander and the commander of Chungshang, likely discussing strategies and enhancing collaboration among military leaders. This day underscored the importance of leadership and unity in defending the region. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's War Diary from June 2 to 7. 1594, June 2 clear. In the morning, I had breakfast with Naval Commander Bae Baek-kyung Nam and visited the commander of Chungshang Province. In the evening, I went to the camp of Commander Yi Sun-sin, where the mayor of Gangjin Ryuhei served as drinks. We spent time shooting arrows. Gyeongsang Province Commander Won Ga-yoon also joined but left early because he wasn't feeling well. Later, I watched the commander of Chungshang Province and Baek-kyung Nam playing a game of Jangi Korean chess for fun. Commentary. This day seemed to focus on building connections with key commanders. The meeting with Yi Sun-sin likely reaffirmed an alliance, while Won Ga-yoon's visit showed intentions of cooperation, though he didn't stay long. June 3. Start of summer heat, clear afternoon showers. The morning was clear, but it rained continuously from the afternoon into the night. Even the seawater became murky, which was an unusual event. Commander of Chungshang Province and Baek-kyung Nam visited, and we played a game of Baduk Go. Commentary. The record of the start of summer heat highlights the importance of weather in those days. The rain likely brought some relief from the heat, and the game of Baduk was probably more than entertainment. It may have been a way to confirm cooperation among commanders. June 4. Clear. The commander of Chungshang Province, the naval commander of Miho Port, and the mayor of Ungjin visited, and we enjoyed a game of Jongjongdo, a royal court game. In the evening, I received an order from the king. It criticized the lack of cooperation among the commanders and demanded changes. The record states that the problem was caused by Commander Won Ga-yoon's drunken misbehavior. Commentary. Playing Jongjongdo seemed intended to promote harmony among the commanders. However, the king's reprimand shows the serious conflicts and lack of teamwork at the time. Won Ga-yoon's behavior appears to have worsened the situation. June 5. Clear. The commander of Chungshang Province came for a conversation. The naval commanders of Sato, Yo Island, and Nokdo also visited, and we practiced archery together. At night, Kim-san, a servant from the government office, and his family died from an epidemic. Feeling deep sadness over their deaths, I tilled a radish field and sent Song Hae-rip and other officials to secure military provisions. Commentary: the loss of a trusted person to disease was a great shock, reflecting the difficult health conditions of the time. Encouraging the collection of provisions shows the urgency of preparing for war. June 7 clear. The commander of Cheongshang Province and Baekhyungnam visited again to talk. The local officer of NV and tax collectors were punished for their crimes. Later, Songdeokil returned and reported that a new royal order would soon arrive. On this day, I planted 2 bushels and 5 pints of radish seeds. Commentary: punishing the officer and tax collectors was likely an effort to maintain discipline and fairness in management. Planting radish seeds might seem like simple farming, but it was probably part of securing food supplies for war preparations. Commentary: Admiral Yi Sun-sin worked hard to bring cooperation among naval commanders, including the commanders of Cheongshang and Gyeongsang provinces. However, a lack of collaboration among the commanders, as well as the reckless behavior of Gyeongsang Province Commander Won Ga-yoon, caused significant difficulties. In response, the king reprimanded the commanders for their discord and ordered them to change their bad habits. Despite his poor health, Admiral Yi maintained morale and strengthened bonds with the commanders by engaging in activities such as archery, playing baduk, go, and enjoying Jeongjongdo, a royal court game. To secure provisions, he personally tilled a radish field, planted seeds, and set officials like Song Hwae-rip to oversee the collection of military supplies. During this time, a tragedy occurred when Kim San, a trusted servant, and his family died of an epidemic. Admiral Yi expressed great sorrow over their deaths, revealing the threat of infectious diseases within the military camp. Admiral Yi also worked to restore military discipline by punishing the crimes of the local officer and the tax collectors. Additionally, he prepared for unforeseen challenges caused by natural factors such as heavy rains and murky seawater, which could affect naval operations. Despite the complex challenges of insufficient cooperation, internal conflicts, epidemics, and supply shortages, Admiral Yi displayed remarkable leadership and worked tirelessly to stabilize the situation and maintain control over the military. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's War Diary from June 8 to 12, 1594. June 8. Diary. The weather was clear and scorching hot. Woo-woo-hoo, a military title visited, and together with the commander of Cheongshang, we shot 20 arrows. In the evening, my cousin Han Kyung came by and delivered the good news that my mother was in good health. It was truly a joyful and fortunate event. The Miho naval officer came to report and then left. Additionally, Min Jeong-bung, the Mono of Hoer Yongpo, visited the camp, and an official document containing commendations for military achievements arrived. Explanation: on this clear and scorching hot day, Admiral Yi Sun-sin practiced archery with the commander of Cheongshang and Woo-woo-hoo, reinforcing military training and camaraderie. In the evening, the visit from Han Kyung, bearing news of his mother's well-being, provided Admiral Yi with much relief. The day also saw visits from the Miho naval officer and Hoer Yongpo's Mono, with the arrival of a commendation document recognizing military achievements, boosting morale among the troops. June 9. Diary. The weather was clear. The commander of Cheongshang and Woo-woo-hoo came by again, and we practiced archery. The commander of Woo-sus also visited, and we shared conversations. Late at night, Hae played the flute, and Young-soo plucked the komungo. As the sounds echoed across the sea, we quietly chatted and then parted ways. Explanation: on this clear day, Admiral Yi continued archery practice with the commander of Cheongshang and Woo-woo-hoo. The visit from the commander of Woo-sus likely included discussions about maritime defense and military strategies. The night ended with the sounds of the flute and komungo resonating over the sea, offering a brief but meaningful respite amid the pressures of war. June 11. Diary. The weather was clear and so hot it felt like it could melt iron. In the morning, my son Al left for the main camp. The sorrow of parting was deeply bitter. Left alone in an empty house, I found it hard to calm my mind. In the evening, the wind grew strong, and my worries deepened. The commander of Cheongshang visited, and we practiced archery together, later sharing dinner. Under the moonlight, We had a long conversation as the forlorn sound of the jade flute filled the air. We sat together for a while before parting. Explanation: On this sweltering day, Admiral Yi experienced the emotional weight of bidding farewell to his son, who departed for the main camp. The loneliness of being left behind was palpable. As the evening brought strong winds and heightened concerns, the commander of Chengshang joined Admiral Yi for archery practice and a moonlit conversation. The melancholy sound of the jade flute added a poignant backdrop to what was likely a discussion of the ongoing war and preparations. June 12. Diary: The wind blew fiercely, but no rain came. The drought was severe, causing great concern for the crops. At dusk, 7 oarsmen from the ships stationed at the main camp deserted. Explanation: Fierce winds swept through, but the lack of rain exacerbated the severe drought, heightening worries about farming and supplies. Despite maintaining military readiness, Admiral Yi faced a setback as 7 oarsmen from the main camp deserted. This incident revealed the challenges of internal discipline during long-term military operations, highlighting the complexities of managing resources and morale under dire conditions. Overall annotations: On a hot and sunny day, Admiral Yi Sun-sin practiced archery with the commander of Chengshang and Wu. This training helped maintain both their skills and relationships. In the evening, his cousin Han Kyung brought the comforting news that his mother was in good health. Visits from the Miho naval officer and Min Jiangbeng, the Mono of Hoer Yongpo, delivered reports and commendation orders for military achievements, confirming the Army's success and boosting morale. The commander of Chengshang and Wu visited again, and they continued practicing archery. Later, Admiral Yi spent a long evening talking with the commander of Susa, likely discussing strategies for maritime defense. That night, the sound of the flute and komunga spread over the sea, offering a rare moment of peace and inspiration even during wartime. When Admiral Yi Sun-sin left for the main camp, it was a bittersweet farewell. Being left alone in the house, he felt a deep sense of loneliness. In the evening, strong winds added to his worries, but the commander of Chengshang joined him for archery practice and dinner. They later had a long conversation under the moonlight, accompanied by the sorrowful sound of the jade flute. This meeting was probably a discussion about the war and preparation strategies. Despite a severe drought that worsened concerns about farming and supplies, military discipline remained tight. However, 7 oarsmen from the main camp's ships deserted, highlighting the difficulties of maintaining order during extended operations. Even in these tough conditions, Admiral Yi continued to focus on training and maintaining relationships with other officials, always staying prepared for challenges ahead. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's War Diary from June 14 to 17, 1594. June 14. Diary: The heat and drought were so severe that even the islands in the sea felt like they were boiling. I couldn't stop worrying about the crops. Together with the commander of Chengshang, Sato officer, Yo Dumano, and Nok Dumano, I practiced archery by shooting 20 rounds. The commander of Chengshang hit the targets most accurately. Today, I heard that the commander of Gyeongsang went to compete in archery against the Yuzusa with his skilled archers but returned after losing badly. Explanation: The extreme heat and drought even made the sea islands feel unbearably hot, and worries about farming grew stronger. Admiral Yi practiced archery with several officers, including the commander of Chengshang, who showed the best skills among them. News came that the commander of Gyeongsang brought his best archers to challenge the Yuzusa but suffered a major defeat, highlighting the need to improve military readiness and skill. June 15. Diary: It was clear in the morning, but rain came in the afternoon. Shin Kyung Huang brought me a letter from Prime Minister Ryu Sung-ryong. There is no one who cares more deeply about the country than him. However, I was saddened to hear that Governor Yun Wushin had passed away. The magistrates of Suncheon and Bazong hurriedly came to report, saying, General Zhang Honggu of Ming China has arrived at Biak-Pajong, near Jin Island, with his warships and over 100 soldiers. Based on the dates, he is expected to arrive here today or tomorrow. However, the strong headwinds have kept his ships from moving for 5 days. That night, a heavy rain finally ended the drought. It felt as though heaven was helping the people. I received a letter from my son, saying he had returned safely. However, My wife's letter said that Myun was suffering badly from heat stroke. This news made me feel deeply worried and helpless. Explanation: It was clear in the morning, but rain in the afternoon finally ended the long drought, which felt like a blessing from heaven. Shin Kyung-hwang delivered a letter from Prime Minister Ri Sung-ryong, whose deep concern for the country was evident. The news of Governor Yoon Woo-shin's death brought sadness. The magistrates of Suncheon and Bozong reported that Ming General Jong Hong-gu had arrived near Jin Island with his warships and soldiers, but was delayed for days due to strong headwinds. This highlighted the importance of preparation for coordination with Ming forces. While the rain brought relief, Admiral Yi received mixed news from his family. His son's safe return was comforting, but the news of Myun's illness due to heat stroke left him feeling distrust. June 17. Diary. It was clear. In the evening, the USASA commander of Gyeongsang Right Naval Forces and the commander of Cheongshang came for a quiet conversation. A scout ship arrived, bringing news that my mother was in good health, but Myun was still very sick. This made me feel very worried. Explanation: On a clear day, Admiral Yi had a quiet conversation with the USASA and the commander of Cheongshang in the evening, likely discussing plans for military readiness and maritime defense. A scout ship arrived with reassuring news of his mother's well-being, but the continued illness of Myun caused great concern. Despite his personal worries, Admiral Yi remained focused on his duties as a leader, balancing the heavy burdens of family and war. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's war diary from June 18 to 21. 1594. June 18. Diary. The weather was clear. In the morning, military officer Jo Chu-nyeon came with a message from the commander-in-chief. The commander-in-chief had heard that the governor of Gwangyang Song-jeon showed favoritism while selecting ambush troops from the navy in Duchy modern-day Dapri, Gwangyang City. He sent the officer to question this. It is truly shocking that the commander-in-chief acted on the words of his illegitimate brother-in-law, Jo Dae-hang, and made such a personal decision. Today, the Gyeongsang Right Naval Commander invited me, but I did not go. Explanation: In the morning, Officer Jo Chu-nyeon delivered a message from the Commander-in-Chief, questioning reports of favoritism by the governor of Gwangyang. Admiral Yi was disappointed that the Commander-in-Chief relied solely on the words of Jo Dae-hang, showing personal bias. This incident highlights the challenges of maintaining fairness and discipline in military decisions. Admiral Yi declined an invitation from the Gyeongsang Right Naval Commander, prioritizing his own principles and duties. June 19. Diary. The weather was clear. Officer Jo Chu-nyeon and Baeung Rok returned to the Commander-in-Chief's camp. Byun Jeonseo, Yoon Segaung, and Ha Chun-soo visited. The commander of Cheongshang completed his report and returned to his personal residence due to his mother's illness. Explanation: Officer Jo Chu-nyeon and Baeung Rok returned to report to the commander-in-chief. Several key figures, including Byun Jeonseo, Yoon Segaung, and Ha Chun-soo, visited Admiral Yi, ensuring communication and coordination continued. The commander of Cheongshang reported as expected but had to leave quickly due to his mother's illness. This day underscores the delicate balance between personal and professional responsibilities during wartime. June 20. Diary. The weather was clear. The commander of Cheongshang returned, submitted his report, and practiced archery. Park Chi-gang also came to report and then left for Seoul. Maryang officer Marion Kyamsa visited. In the evening, the Mono of Yeongdeung-po was punished for neglecting his duties while stationed at Yeongdeung-po. Lee In-won, the scout ship officer, returned. Explanation: The commander of Cheongshang continued military coordination with Admiral Yi through reports and archery training. Park Chi-gang reported and departed for Seoul, while Maryang officer visited for discussions. The Mono of Yeongdeung-po faced punishment for dereliction of duty, reflecting Admiral Yi's strict enforcement of military discipline. Lee In-won's return from the scout ship ensured a steady flow of military intelligence, vital for maintaining preparedness. June 21. Diary. The weather was clear. The commander of Cheongshang returned again for archery training. Maryang officer also returned, and we had further discussions. It was confirmed that the report about Ming General Jong Hong-gu reaching Biak-pajong via the sea was false. Explanation: The commander of Cheongshang and Maryang officer continued to engage with Admiral Yi, emphasizing ongoing collaboration and planning. The false report about Ming General Zhang Honggu's arrival at Biak Pajang highlighted the importance of verifying intelligence before acting. This day demonstrated Admiral Yi's reliance on careful analysis and trustworthy information amidst the challenges of wartime strategy. Admiral Yi Sun-sin's War Diary from June 26 to 29, 1594, June 26. Clear. The naval commanders, including the Cheongshan commander, Suncheon governor, Sato Fort commander, Yoda Fort commander, and Gazong prefecture magistrate, practiced archery together. Early in the morning, I sent the Dano festival tribute to Kim Yangon. Morong and Yeongdeung Po came here but soon returned. On this day, Yi Sun-sin trained in archery with key military officials, ensuring readiness and proficiency. Sending the Dano tribute to Kim Yangon was a customary administrative duty, while the visit by Morong and Yeongdeung Po likely served military coordination or situational updates. June 27. Clear. I shot 15 rounds of archery. This day was dedicated to intensive archery practice. Shooting 15 rounds reflects a significant focus on maintaining martial skills, highlighting the importance Yi Sun-sin placed on constant readiness and training. June 28, clear and scorching hot. It was the Memorial Day of King Myeongjong, so I spent the entire day sitting alone. Jin Musung inspected the lookout point on Biak Bang Mountain and reported no sighting of enemy ships. As it was King Myeongjong's Memorial Day, Yi Sun-sin observed the occasion quietly. Jin Musung's inspection of the lookout post on Biak Bang Mountain demonstrates a continuous effort to maintain vigilance, and the report of no enemy ships provided temporary reassurance. June 29. Clear. The Suncheon governor brought food and wine. Together with the Right Naval Commander and the Cheongshan commander, I practiced archery. Yoon Dong-gu's father came to observe the practice. All visited and reported that my mother was in good health. This day emphasized military camaraderie through archery practice with key commanders. The Suncheon governor bringing food and wine signifies fostering cooperation and goodwill. The visit from Yoon Dong-gu's father and the news from all about Yi Sun-sin's mother highlight his personal connections and human side. This record illustrates how Admiral Yi Sun-sin balanced military preparedness with personal and administrative responsibilities. His dedication to archery practice and vigilant inspections ensured readiness, while his interactions with peers and family reflect his grounded and human approach to leadership. Notes on Admiral Yi Sun-sin's activities. Even during the hot weather at the end of June, Admiral Yi Sun-sin continued his military activities without pause. He strengthened the military forces by regularly practicing archery with various regional officials and military leaders, including the Cheongshan Naval Commander, Suncheon Governor, Sato Fort Commander, Yoda Fort Commander, and Gazong Magistrate. Shooting 15 rounds of arrows daily shows his commitment to making military training a part of his routine and highlights his thorough preparation. Admiral Yi also maintained communication with the royal court by sending the Dano festival tribute to Kim Yangon. At the same time, he handled administrative duties by interacting with officials from Morong and Yeongdeung Po, showing his ability to manage both military and non-military tasks. On the National Memorial Day for King Myeongjong, he spent the day solemnly, observing the occasion with deep respect. Through Jin Musung, he inspected the lookout post on Biak Bang Mountain, confirming that no enemy ships were spotted. This vigilance demonstrates that even in relatively calm times, Admiral Yi carefully monitored the enemy's movements and remained prepared for any situation. The Suncheon governor brought food and wine, and together with the Right Naval Commander and the Cheongshan Naval Commander, they strengthened their cooperative relationships through archery practice. He also met Yoon Dong-gu's father, further building his human network. Additionally, upon hearing news about his mother's well-being, Admiral Yi's concern for his family showed his human side and deep sense of responsibility. Overall, during this period, Admiral Yi Sun-sin ensured that military training and preparedness were never neglected, even in calm times. By strengthening cooperation and communication with officials and maintaining relationships with the royal court and his family, he consistently worked to reinforce national defense while managing personal connections.